final gear? Is it powering through? Oh yes. Oh yes. Hey guys, this is Kirob speaking, and today we are back in automation with the fastest car in the world challenge, episode number 1, 1950s. Today we are going to start our campaign that is following the footsteps of Duesenberg, if they haven't gone the way of the dodo by then. So 1950s it is. What would have happened if they were still around? Well, we are going to find out with our very first car that we're going to design today, how fast can we be? The benchmark to beat is the Aston Martin DB4 GT with 153 miles per hour or 246 kilometers an hour. And that should be very much possible, but if we want to push it off a lot beyond this benchmark, then we're going to struggle a little bit, I would assume. So we're going to start the campaign now and take a look at what our strategy will be. Let's get into it. I have settled with the not very original but pretty cool and weird name, Dutmare Velocity Inc. Yeah, we're going to go with that one. Anyway, so definitely not going to start on a standard setting because we have to get to a difficulty multiplier that is beyond 20. And let's go into the advanced setup and see what we can change. Dalluha start. Let's take a look at the starting familiarity of that. Why am I choosing this one? I think this one has some potential. Look at that. We get some familiarity with V16s. Isn't that nice? Oh yes. Also, chassis, space frame chassis, and we do get familiarity with aluminium panels. That's also nice to have. And then, aluminium heads. Also, a very nice bonus in Dalluha is they have avgas on regular stations, petrol stations. That's kind of good, because that means as long as you can deliver one car in Dalluha of those speedy boys that does break your speed record but runs on avgas, well, you have all of a sudden 12 extra octane to work with compared to the 98 that everyone else is using. So that's a pretty big benefit there for the starting cars, I would say. And that is where a lot of score can be made. So let's go with this one. But first, we need to get under control our score multiplier. So let's have a look what settings I choose. I do want to have a plot for both car and engine. I don't think I'm going to go... Yeah, maybe we can make some medium-sized factories later on, but I'm not going to build any factory yet. I don't need that much cash. 0 is a little too little, but a little bit more competition strength. And now we are at 26.6 basically. And that means tech pool can be added. That sounds good to me. So what is this about? Well, it's about speed, so it's about aerodynamics. I find a sweet spot to be something 6 or 7. Like, if you go to 8, that is, like, really killing you, as you see. It's like, ouch, that hurts. That's more than 1 in score multiplier. Oh, and then, well, this first one is engine architecture. That is super expensive, but also very helpful. Ouch. Yeah, that hurts, but it is very important. Let's put it at 1 first, because that is still just half a point, right? That's fine. Bottom end could help you a little bit, but top end more so. Maybe, 2 hurts. I think fuel system is more important though, and also more costly. Ouch, ouch, even more ouch. We do need 4 in body as well. Oh, yes. That one does lower drag, and is in general quite beneficial. And then I would like to go for some safety too, because you know what? Those advanced safety options, they do love them in luxury cars and those markets that our cars would be aimed at, but they tend to take a lot of time, so just a little bit. Oh, look at this! Oh, that is I actually didn't plan this. I was usually starting with 7 aerodynamics there. So either now we could go with 7 there and then up the competition strength. Oh, that was... just missed it. That would have been nice. Do I want to go with higher competition strength even? That means we need to make some properly competitive cars. Not always possible with high speed focus like this. Alright, let's get started. Congratulations on starting that mare Velocity Inc. It's like Duesenberg, but better. So here we go. What is our target demographic? Well, Dalluha. Basically all of it. Let's go for GT Premium. And no AI generation, thank you very much. As you can see, with this amount of tech pool, we already have unlocked some future bodies. But what we're going for the first car is pretty much a no-brainer. It was in the previous series as well. It's the long 1945 coupe. It's just really damn good. And it fits a massive engine. And massive it will be. And look at this. Familiarity with aluminium panels is at almost 36%. That's something we take. Space frame. So, you ask, but Kiro, why does Dalluha have this familiarity with it? Well, Dalluha is famous for their aircraft in the World War II equivalent that they had. And yeah, that made them defend the kingdom, or rather split off from Ahana in the end. So, yes, this one probably was a producer of aircraft before, and that is why things are the way they are. We're going with some basic stuff. So let's talk a little bit of strategy here. So you do have the rule that it is just one model per decade. But it doesn't say anything in the rules about that you can't keep an old model around and facelift that into the future. So I think what I'm going to do is use this as my basis for the first car and the second car that is going to break the high-speed records, and I'm just going to facelift them. It's going to get a new engine for 1960. Well, for the 1960 score, that is. The first one is going to be the 1950 score. And then for the 70s, I make a new one. But what about the other model? Well, we can just use that other model in order to, well, create something that people love and buy, and all of a sudden we're going to be filthy rich. Doesn't that sound fantastic? Yes, it does. I think that's a neat little trick we could employ here. Let's see if we have the leeway of switching to double wishbone a little later on. We have 0 familiarity here, so that's not great. That is, the difference is either 12 months that are being added to everything else, or 24 months, and that's a big difference. Anyway, it is time for a new engine, and that is where the fun starts. The plan here is that we are going to do one engine that is only for the speed records. So, and we're probably going to engineer on the kind of crappy side for for the first car, and then really beef it up for the second one, as much as possible, of course. But that also means that we do need another engine that is way simpler, that goes into our normal cars. So to not mess it up, let's call it the Warthog, and it's going to be the 1950s record breaker variant of the engine, and let's see what we can make. Going right in here, you see, there is a bit of familiarity. 14%. How kind of it. Okay. Again, let's talk a little bit of strategy here. So you know what Duesenberg did? There is no replacement for displacement. And they went for an inline 8 liters. Was it? Was it 8 liters? I think so, right? So, if we want to be better than Duesenberg, why not just do twice of that? What could possibly go wrong? I mean, what's the problem with this one? I don't see it. It's slightly larger than an average engine. Yes, maybe. Oh, they do have that indirect acting overhead cam. That is what OHC stood for there, yeah. Alright, so not getting anything in this. That's unfortunate. Let's see if we can get away with 2-valve dual overhead cam. That is going to be amazingly expensive to engineer, but we should try. Engineering time 72 months just for that. That's stiff. A stiff breeze in our face, and we don't like breezes in our face when you do high-speed runs. So, -2 quality, that is going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot. But, do we need heavy cast with this size? probably do, actually. And make it as heavy as possible. This is a beast. I have no clue how much cam profile or whatever we're going to use. Maybe something... we're not going to rev high. We in fact, only have, what was it? Heavy cast components in there. Let's do it like this. And compression probably can be around 10 or something. Because avgas. And let's rev a little higher and see when it falls apart. No turbochargers just yet, and once superchargers are apart, I think I will have to repeat this challenge because it's going to be... Oh no, it wouldn't make much difference because the internals still die by themselves, even without the help of a supercharger. Anyway, let's continue. So I'm going with single barrel and then 6 carburetors. Performance mid, not going to rev high, that's for sure. And that can be changed for the record-breaking version that is coming in 1960 then, right? But yeah, then we can switch to performance high and like cast components and maybe take out a little bit of this just to be able to rev a little higher, like 14 liters or something. Maybe that does the trick. I don't know. We shall see. Fuel map though, probably aiming for the 90s. Yeah, and then we don't need reliability. Sorry, that's just overrated. But this is looking good. So -4, 4 extra octane there. So we're running effectively 114 octane fuel. Let's start with tubular mid, maybe go for tubular long. We shall see if that is necessary. No mufflers, we don't need... Oh. Wait, oh. Got a bit of a problem here. The crank doesn't want to cooperate. And why do I have Moroccan units? That's atrocious. Aha, here we get something. So the crank is just barely surviving. Somehow we need to push this all... like to being less stressful than this. I think that can be done. But oh yes, look at this. This is looking a lot better. If we go for performance high, that takes a lot of torque away. If we can utilize that much later in the torque curve, then that would be fantastic. Oh my god, the flow is just like all over the place. Oof, now it's also all over the place and dying on us. Well, you see, sometimes dual overhead cam is just a detriment. But choosing direct acting gets rid of our torque problems because direct acting just sucks a little. Like, literally. When does the engine go boom? There does. That is a lot of power, though. I mean, it's almost 700 horsepower. Oh, yes. That is looking rather snazzy. Wow, 747 almost. The 747, yes, about that aviation, right? So that is looking like an engine. It just weighs 807 kilos. I mean, do you have a problem with that? Actually, that just helps. Because we do need the grip at those speeds. Oh, and there was more in it. More springs and lifters for the rescue. Can we get... now it explodes. Can we somehow get a little bit more out of it by production units, engineering time? It's just another 2 months there. That's fine. Can we get another click in... another click in RPM? Yes. Yes, we can. Where are we at now? 767? So, Mr. Engineer, do you see any problems with this engine? No, just a few considerations. Yeah, that's what I thought. Wow, this is getting closer to 800 horsepower. Oh, and you need to be above 5 reliability, otherwise it comes up with the red warning, the engine can't be sold. Now that we are revving a little higher, I can increase cam profile. That just ups our breathability as well. And what, do we break? No? The 800? Yes! If we're going for an engine that is supposed to be reused for the 1960s model, then I believe, and maybe even beyond that, but it might peter out a bit because of the drivetrain. But anyway, or valve train, not drivetrain, valve train. But anyway, I think this has enough potential in it in terms of optimizing these values that we, for the next decade's version of this engine, can pull out a fair amount of extra power. Oh yes, and also we have this one at just 13 liters. So we're using this car body here, that's fine. We have 4 body quality, let's use all of it. Because, as you see there, where's it? Drag? 4, 3, 1. And if we have it at 0, it's, yeah, slightly higher. 4, 4, 4. Alright, let's plus 4 it, that's fine. And now, longitudinal, yes. Manual 4, yes. We do need a fair amount of speed. What would be a fair amount of speed, you think? Like, into the 300s? Something like this. Open? Sure. Because drivability with 800 horsepower is fun. What also is fun is over 300 kilometers an hour on cross-ply tires. Yeah, good luck with that. Oh, and it's worse even. Let's make them as large as possible. And now you're probably saying, yeah, and then you select the semi-slicks for the extra grip. And I just laugh at you because, you know what? We don't need the grip from the semi-slicks. We do need less rolling resistance, so we are going for hard long life tires. Oh, yes, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You see, the average nub would not even consider to use anything but under tray none here, because off-road, we're not going off-road. Yes, we are. We are going onto the salt lakes, right? But just compare the drag coefficient there for a sec. That's a good 0.02 lower. And on top of that, it weighs a lot. Perfect. And we can have 4 seats in this one. Luxury and luxury radio, that is going to be a little expensive. Advanced safety, and that is where you see my tech pool comes in. 21.7 months instead of 32. Oh yes, and now we need to optimize weight. We want, okay, maybe I should explain why. You see this curve here? You see that top curve there, right? That is engine power. But the lower curve is grip. Our tires just don't have enough grip to be propelling this bullet to higher speeds. Let's go a little lower there and try to do it via aero instead later on. But let's see first of all how we need to set this one up. Okay, the GT Premium segment really does like it. So if we sell this one at like 35k, can we sell anything there? Trim sales 1 into GT Premium, GT 2. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. You know what? Let's do our first high-speed test run first to see how it's going. We are going to take the Dalluha Salt pan right there, and that is the beautiful track that we have, and going to run everything on. And now hold your ears, children, because this is going to be a little loud. We forgot the mufflers. Forgot the mufflers. So we're going to speed this one up because it's damn loud. Well, we're breaking 300, 310, and that was it. Okay, 313. I think we can do better than this with 800 horsepower. This is not good. Just kind of important, you know. Aerodynamics quality. Let's go for that. But engineering time 60-something months is a little too steep to me. So, maybe 35, 40? And that has been a lot of changes. Woof. Even this graph says, wow. Still have so much power available there. 333, let's see what comes out of it. Rev limiter kicks in, yo! Stop it! And also, we really need to fix this issue. We have way too little grip on the rear compared to how much power we have left over. So, wings it is. Our aircraft engineers thought this would do the trick. In reality it wouldn't, but in automation it does, so let's take a look. So something like this maybe? Let's go to the track and try it out. Maybe this is gearbox limited. Oh yes, it is. Whoa! No! Gear limitation again. At 382 with plenty of track to go. Alright, need to up this a bit more. Wow, this looks like a good try. Come on, go faster. 80, 83 there. 85. Oh, you can do a little bit more. 87. 88. There you go, 388. Now that is a respectable speed. Now, most importantly, we still need to sell this thing, right? So let's just check. 2 sales there. Yeah, we can always make it a little cheaper and it will be good. Oh, that thing looks like it's going to do the trick. Now, the other thing is that we do need to produce it as well. And engineer it before the 50s. To sanity check what we're doing here, let's just progress to the engineering panel and see if that is doing the trick. That one isn't yet, but this one definitely is. All right. Oh yes, very important to point out, we have 4 years. That is 48 months, but not quite. We need to also be able to produce and sell this stuff. So it's more like 44, 45 months if you want to play it safe. So now what I'm going to do is to make 2 additional trims that are going into different categories, like a bit more standard-ish sports car and luxury car. See what we can do with those. So I quickly made a few clones, so I'm going to target luxury/GT and then sports convertible. And now just going in there and see what I can change. The biggest issue here is the engine. It is atrocious for anything that is sensible. So let's make something sensible. And there was a little bit in their familiarity that would be sensible. Let's see. You see that familiarity right there? Boxer. Boxer 4? Nah, let's go with 6. Also choosing direct acting overhead cam, we don't need the power necessarily, but we do want to have a decent amount of chunk in it. 3.5 liters should do the trick. But now we really need to take care of engineering times, because this one is not going to get the 36-month bonus that our world record breaking engine gets. It's only the first engine project and the first car project that gets the benefit of the reduction. Not only am I going for much more... Oh, Mr. Spider. Much more simple components here. Keeping the same carburetors though, to have a little bit more synergy for familiarity gain. And then just going with standard mid intakes and the same on the exhaust side. I think that will do the trick. Not with avgas though. Because you see, there's one thing happening, and that is that Fruinia is going to open its doors reasonably soon, and that's the 1950s. Just need a facelift to make it sell there. The power curve. Just look at it, how flat it is. That just doesn't even show up on the scale that we were at. Oh, that's beautiful. And that is a really good engine once we get rid of the rainbow up there. Ah, oh, what a beautiful, sensible engine. Thank you. Whoops. The comparison top speed here is slightly ridiculous as well. I'm going to leave the interior the exact way I set it up for everything else, because that is going to save us a little bit of troubles in engineering terms. Turns out if you don't have 800 kilos of a motor sitting in the front, all of a sudden your suspension setup's way too stiff. Alright, the stats for this thing are looking pretty good. Let's move on to the next one. This is looking quite good, isn't it? I mean, it has everything you want. Some power, not too much of it, just being reasonable all around, and nice tune. Let's take it. Now that is a neat setup. Look at this. Beautiful. Maximum sportiness, everything green, lots of stats. And now we have everything set up. Sensible cars, less sensible cars, and now this question of if we can engineer this stuff and put it into factories. Let's have a look. So I need to make the most out of this. And this is going to be done by reducing the pressure, upping the familiarity that we're going to gain with this by plus 30%, something like this. And I can still reduce the tooling a little. Overrated anyway. And then I can crash the funding, because this is way too expensive for our little company. 44 months exactly. I think that's a good one to aim for. 4 months of margin should be very safe. So there you go. 137% familiarity increase for this. 44 months. It does have the 36-month reduction on it though. Now, we do need to produce it, but not in this one. We're going to make a new contract factory. So just a contract one with Iron Foundry. And what do we produce? Ow! 17,000 for one engine. Ouch! Now we are going to take a look at the Dart 6 engineering. We are at 53 months. That is, this one isn't shortened by any bonus. Engineering costs are reasonably high there, but overall, I think it's reasonable. And for this one, we're going with a contract to Ahana, making our own one. Oh, maybe we should try. Maybe we should try to set up our own one. That is just 30 million right off the bat. And yeah, total build cost 49 million. But anyway, we are going to aim for a little bit of a lean operation until we have a bit of more of a foothold. And that requires Farina to shine through. They need to buy our sports cars. So now, factory. Can we sell that many cars is the question. And the answer is no. So maybe a small one is the smarter way to go about it, and then upgrade. So I just hope this UI isn't lying to me. 13 months build time, and here we have 13 months until one shift. And that is our maximum, and our... should we do target shift? Where do we want it? If we need to pause these factories, I think I take the target shifts down to 0.5, because that means they're going to hire extra staff from 0.5 to 1, which then is let go as the production drops, instead of keeping the staff around when production drops. So, yeah, I think this is a smarter version for now. The good thing here is that with such a small factory and no proper automation in there, no presses and nothing, you can really crank up the tooling quality of the few tools that they do have to make things a bit better. Alright, looks like we are actually going to make a bit of a profit here. And now the scary bit. Have we succeeded in making it cheap enough? I think the answer here is yes, because this is a total combined cost of just 23 million. And last time I checked, 23 million was less than 50 million. So we should have some money left over for marketing and for R&D if we wanted to. Let's head over to the hub and see if everything pans out before we sign off. Our engines, of course, are suffering from poor build quality as they are built in Ahana. Ah, well. Very important to set up from the start. Your marketing. And a little bit of top speed marketing. Why not? Oh, this is pretty good, actually. So, for the first 4 years, this marketing budget would cost us 3.3 million. That is well within budget. And for the R&D, yeah, some 3 million a year. Not a year, that would be way too much. 3 million until we have our first release. I'm going for bottom end, because that seems to be what we are lacking in terms of stability there to get to higher torque values and more speed. No loan, 23 million, 44 months. Very safe. I think we can sign that one off. Sign off. Yes. Alright, yeah. Now that the months are running, of course we do earn some interest as well. Not an insignificant amount. The pre-order penalties here are still massive. Just because they're so far away. But the least for our record breaker, because it's so enormously prestigious. Oh, there we have our first sale. More importantly, we should take a look at, whoa, at marketing. Because we are already at 6%, 7% awareness in some of these demographics. That's looking really good. Uh-oh. I'm getting a little worried here. Still no pre-orders. And there we go. Still no pre-orders. Nothing there to produce. I think I need to drop the price some so that it becomes slightly more attractive. At this point, I think we can just try to sell it at -20. And that is why we want margin in here. we have a few months. Let's see. Oh, don't go too fast. There. Yes! Yes! Remaining pre-orders. Produced 0. Possible sales 1. Okay. So this one now needs to be delivered. Produced 1. Historic sales 1. Delivered 1. That means it counts. Yes! Yes, we did it! The rest doesn't look very promising though. But wait a second. Why are we spending 2 million on engine production? And now comes the final month. 150. January of 1950. And we've done it. We've sold 1 car of our record-breaking trim. I've stopped its pre-orders and deliveries. It was a one-off, just like the Duesenbergs, or some of them. Let's take a good look at what we created and calculate our speed score. So, of course, you can go through the company museum and do another test track run if you want to. Of course, on the test track that you have available. Otherwise, you just use this top speed. And what did we reach with this exact setup that we now can't change anymore? Yes! Alright, 388. Nice. And the calculation is really simple. We just take our reference speed, which is the benchmark of the Aston Martin DB4 GT, at 246 kilometers an hour. Oh, it seems a little low all of a sudden. 388 minus 246. And that gives us a speed score for this very first decade of 142. And that concludes today's episode. The 1950s have been conquered, but there is a lot more to do. And looking at some of our problems here, there are a lot of problems to solve. So we shall see how that goes. I hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time.